Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ROMA Nation. I'm AK, your favorite guy, and tonight, come join us for the fourth and final part of our Uncensored series with Malcolm X. Let's talk about the early years, his troubled past, his relationship with the Muslim community, and his ultimate demise. This is ROMA Nation. What up, Scrap? How you doing?
Good evening. I'm here. I got my Tiny Tim Pool outfit going on tonight.
Got the beanie.
My beanie going.
Hey,
I didn't even plan it. I was just sitting here comfy today, you know, got some little bit of warm weather through and the windows open, and then it started to get cold again because the winds are whipping. Not whipping like Mississippi though. I mean, prayers out to them. They're getting absolutely sacked today with the tornadoes. So hearts out for them. You know, take care of your neighbors.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and get this started. But first, we got a Discord where all the magic happens for ROMA Nation. You want to be a podcast host, producer, researcher, or writer for us, this is the only place to be a part of the fastest growing podcast community on Rumble. Link is in the description. Also, check out our website, where ROMA Nation's part of the Rise of Middle America podcast network, where you can see our most recent content, news, rants, and deep dives, as well as up-and-coming events that you don't want to miss. We also got that merch. That's right. We got all our new options. I didn't put new shirts in this week, but I think I'm going to post those tomorrow or maybe on Monday, because we got some new caption this that are absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I think a good idea might be to rotate these out like they're limited, so that way we don't have a whole bunch of shirts on there, you know, and too much for people to get through. You know, we might limit some of these. Like some of these will get retired, and so then they won't exist anymore. So might as well get in here and grab some, because especially that Sam Jackson one.
Yeah, that one. That's our biggest selling one so far.
And if they sell really well, we might leave them up longer. But from what I understand, Sam Jackson's people are pretty tight about his image. So, you know, get it while it lasts. Because if we get a takedown order, it's coming down. We ain't fighting that.
Tell me about it. Well, if you want more information, there was a QR code on the screen, not anymore. But you can go to riseofmiddleamerica.com. Everything's there. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And follow me on X at @therealRoma_AK, or you can follow us on Rumble at ROMA Nation, all one word. Let's make this the #1 podcast network on planet Earth. Earth. Now, let's go ahead and get into our main segment. So like I said, this final episode of Uncensored series. So what better way to send us off with a special guest? You know him on YouTube. He got his reaction videos. He does business on the side. So please welcome to the show, Van Hall with LFR Family.
Give me a hell yeah!
Woo, 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 woo.
Hey.
There he is.
What's up? Thank you for help, and thank you for having me on, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so a little bit about us. So when we first started this journey on the Timcast Discord, I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can start getting some guests on, that we can have like dynamic conversations and things like that. You were the first one. You were the first person I reached out to.
What?
So, yeah, because I remember when I subscribed to you, I mean, you had like 13,000 followers. We're talking like way back. I don't know how many years ago that was. But
Wow.
I remember you did one reaction video of the epic rap battles of history, and ever since then I was like hooked.
Oh man, thank you, bro. That's all right, man. Yeah.
No,
That's all right.
it was great. So Scrap, did you got anything else you wanted to add for our special guest before we head?
No, it's just cool to kind of bring it full circle again and revisit this, because when AK had you on over on Timcast, I was just a pleb hanging out, paying my $10 a month, just chilling. Like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, he's kind of cool. I'm out here slinging Thomas Sowell videos to my friends, and then you're on there. I was like, hey, I could rock with that. We're good.
You out there slinging them to your friends. You know what though? When he brought me on, it was really reminiscent of when I had a thriving Discord, when I actually focused on my community, growing my community. I had people hanging out in there all the time, playing music, and we would have different events just for our Discord. It was appreciated by the people that was there, but it was also built by the people inside of my Discord, man. So when you invited me over, it gave me that feeling of family in a Discord, and it feels good, man. I'm glad to see how successful you guys have been and are. And so also, what's that song? You got an intro song. My body is.
Oh, that's a little bit of a secret, but we'll let you know after the show, because you're gonna be like, wait a minute, what?
But that joint go. I like it. That joint, like, I was listening to it like.
I saw you, because I could see everybody that's in my StreamYard down at the bottom, and you were just like,
hey, that joint nice, man. That's my vibe right there. I can listen to that, especially while I'm working. Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. Exactly. We're all big music fans in our crew. We love doing it. So, and
that's
putting things together. Thank you.
That's what's up.
Absolutely. All right, Diz, hit the bump.
If it's on a roulette table in that era, I know which one I'm voting on, okay? I know where my chips are going. Let's just be honest, okay?
Exactly. Yeah, so his mother, Louise Little, struggled financially and was later institutionalized, leading to the separation of Malcolm and his siblings. So, of course, what that means is that he was brought into foster care, right? You know, with his mother declared mentally unfit, Malcolm was placed in foster homes and boarding schools, experienced firsthand the systematic racism that embedded in the social services, which, I mean, if you look at social services today, I mean, the social services in general are absolutely horrid.
That really frames a lot of the quotes and comments that he made that are kind of well known, where he criticizes the left.
Yeah.
You know, that really... That opens my mind up to a whole lot of more perspective of how he came to some of the conclusions he did later on.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I used to be a big fan of social services. Huge fan. My favorite mayor. I mean, I'm from Washington, D.C., and my favorite politician of all times is Mayor Marion Barry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was caught in a hotel smoking crack with a hooker. Can I remind you of somebody's son?
How you gonna tell little kids to not get high when the mayor's on crack? Don't get high, it won't be nothing. I could be mayor.
My daddy? No, I'm just kidding.
No, somebody named Hunter.
Look at you got some fans in the audience there.
Yeah.
What's up, Elizabeth?
I know you know this guy.
What's up, Vash? Shout out to Vash. Good guy.
Yeah, man.
Really good guy. Really good guy.
Biddy does a lot of her own React videos stuff too over on Instagram. She's got some hookup with some of those European or the British music underground guys. They're pretty cool. They're
sweet.
Different. Yeah.
That's what's up. Got her hands in a little bit of everything.
Exactly. All right. So he did drop out of school in the 8th grade. So of course, with that being said, he's going to have some kind of run-ins with the law, right? You know, he moved to Boston and then Harlem. He became involved in the street life, the gang life, worked odd jobs, including shoe shiners. He was later a hustler, you know, but finally in 1946, if you could bring that up, Diz, He was arrested for larceny and breaking and entering and sentenced to 10 years in prison, where he served 6 years. Now, many people are going to say that it was racial tensions, but he had lived with his older sister who encouraged self-education, right? So trying to bring him out of that kind of lifestyle into learning things on his own, which if you really think about kids that are emancipated at an early age,
Right.
like not many of them do well, but there are some that take off and understand. Do you have any stories about like the foster care system, anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was in the system since I was 3 years old, bro. You know, I got a clothing line called the Welfare Boy because I was adopted into my blood family. And none of my cousins, all of my cousins had their mothers there, or some of them had their fathers there, but none of them were adopted into the system. So I was adopted, and around 11 years old, they decided to nickname me Welfare Boy. Whenever I came to any type of parties, Thanksgiving dinners, whatever the case may be, they nicknamed me Welfare Boy.
There it is.
Hey, there you
Monetize
go.
your haters, right? No, we love our family. No, that rings home with me. My mom was adopted into another tree of the family back up. So like to an older generation.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, all my cousins and aunts and uncles, they were all shifted a generation. And it was like, I thought they were like aunts and uncles because they were older than me, right?
And they were just cousins.
Yeah, they were just all cousins for the most part. And like my mom's siblings and them, they were never in Indiana. So we'd visit them sometimes, but then eventually that got cut off because they never really, accepted her really fully in when she tried to make contact with her blood siblings. But yeah, there was some of that Kentucky stuff where like a preacher man shacks up with a chick and then there's a baby that goes into an orphanage and then gets adopted back into the family because there's a grandma that's like, nope, that baby's our blood. She's coming home.
Yeah, we're gonna take care of that baby. Ain't no abortion. It wasn't no abortion back then, was it?
Nope. Not one bit.
And there wasn't no condoms either, was it?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I come from a family